listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane on this occasion. You can text the show on 8 12 15, that's 8 12 15. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
I'm not accusing you of any kind of passive-aggressive behaviour, but on this occasion did sound like we were up for renewal or something.
Yeah, it's a little bit
on
temporary.
On this occasion, you know.
Well, you know, it's, that's like...
who knows?
This is my current wife.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, we had a very... good morning, morning, Peter.
Morning.
Morning, Jim.
Morning, Richie.
We had a good conversation this week about how pictures of me in Doctor Who have appeared this week.
They've surfaced.
And I'm not an alien, as some people thought I might be. And my argument is that a man with my accent could never play an alien.
Yeah.
In Doctor Who.
Yes, you did say that.
Now, some Doctor Who fan will say, well, what about Gerdog, who had a Manchester accent in Terror of the Autons or something like that, but I can't think of one. But you know what I mean? There's something that aliens, for some reason, have to be a bit posh.
Aliens don't tend to be regional, as a rule.
No, they don't. Well,
and I respect them for that.
But the Doctor's an alien, and he's regional.
Yeah, but he went to RADA.
He's regional now.
Generally, the Doctors went to RADA.
He's regional this week. Anyway, if the vote had gone the other way, he would have been overseas.
Oh,
yeah.
Funny, isn't he?
I like that you're standing up for regional aliens everywhere, though.
Well, I'm saying that Emily was saying that the regional accent now is a massive plus in entertainment, and I said there are still closed doors.
Yeah.
And one of them, I think, is aliens in Doctor Who.
It's not. It's not that easy. Just because we're well spoken doesn't make it easy for us.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's easier.
But you'd be more likely to play an alien on Doctor Who than me, for example.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, I'm afraid.
Me and you are light relief. We're the gravedigger rather than the prince.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
Mm-hmm.
But tremendous news this week.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the Daily Telegraph's top 100 jokes of all time.
Congratulations.
Lovely.
Really pleased for you.
It's just very exciting to be there. And they're not in any particular order, so, you know, we're all, we can all slap each other on the back.
I bet you remembered what number you were, though.
I don't, actually.
Okay.
Because for that...
It's bigger than that.
Well, one big reason is that I don't... The joke that's got me in, I'm pretty sure is not my joke.
Really?
Obviously, I say so many spontaneous jokes.
Might have just tumbled out.
Yeah.
I might remember. Can you remember what it is?
Well, it doesn't sound like... It sounds like something that an American comic from the 50s would have said.
Oh,
I think they've just thought, oh, this must be someone a bit more senior. Maybe it was Frank Skinner.
That doesn't convince me it's not you. Would you care to share it with us?
Here's the joke, then. A man doesn't know the meaning of happiness until he's married, and then it's too late.
Oh, sounds a bit more Tarby.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you.
It's actually quite a good joke,
It's not bad.
But I'm 99.9% certain it's not me. And that I feel like I'm in under false pretenses. How does Pasquale sleep? That's what this makes me wonder. And this is not my own doing, but even so, I feel like I've nicked somebody's joke.
Yeah, you sort of nicked it by proxy somehow. Yeah. That's tricky, isn't it?
You're going to have to write one of those letters.
How do you unsteal a joke you never stole?
I think I should write to the Telegraph and say, can I say that this isn't my joke, and I'd like it to be removed from the top.
Or even better, offer them 100 jokes of yours that they can select from for the 100 jokes. Yes. I mean, they could replace them all and just put all yours in. Why
not? As an apology, they could just have Frank Skinner's top 100 jokes.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
It's always changing, though, isn't it? By the second. They did a thing called the Comedy Carpet in Blackpool, which I might have told you about before, and they put one of my jokes on there. It's not a joke I would have chosen.
I liked it, though.
What was that?
I don't repeat it. It was about dogs breaking wind.
I wasn't during your blue period, was it?
And I like to think it's
I hated the blue period.
I liked it.
Oh, I know you did. You're such a lad. I hated it.
I'm really laddie.
I like it now jokes about philosophy and things much better.
Yeah, but even in my blue period, I didn't do many windbreak. I've always hated. I can't use the word. I've always hated those jokes.
Oh, me too.
And I lapsed and did one, and now that's immortalised forever.
See,
don't say I lapsed and did one. This is horrible.
That's another reason I'm not getting...
till tomorrow.
That'll stop me getting alien work as well, that joke.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I think we can all breathe a sigh of relief now that Alan's parking's been sorted.
Not sure it has.
It's been a long, ongoing thing about Alan's parking. And though he comes over as Mr. North and down to earth, he's got poor
Charlie
doing it.
Yeah.
It's like J-Lo in the house.
It is a high-maintenance diva, and it's time you guys knew it.
Is that what you drive, a high-maintenance diva?
Yeah, that's right.
A Vauxhall Diva?
Yeah. It needs a service like every 10 miles.
Oh, that'd be the perfect car for me, wouldn't it?
Enormous boot.
Yeah.
That's my dream car, Frank. The Vauxhall Diva with the big boot.
Yeah.
That's my car. Make it someone.
Make it Vauxhall. Yeah, they could. You don't want Ford doing the Vauxhall Diva, it'll get confusing.
I've also had another comedy problem this week. On two different occasions. Yeah. I said something utterly hilarious in conversation, and a person I was with said, "Oh, I'm having that." No.
Were they a professional?
No, they weren't professionals, but I don't want it to even happen in their normal everyday chat.
Yeah, that's out of order.
This
has happened to you before as well, hasn't it? We've talked about this a few times.
It's outrageous. I'm thinking that I might have to go legal with it. I don't mean, turning up at people's houses, just a letter.
Just take a disclaimer with you, and at the beginning of every conversation, just make them sign it, saying if anything is amusing, then it's
I have always found it an odd thing to say, though.
I'm having that.
Yeah. You wouldn't say that about, nice sofa, I'm having that. What's the difference? Surely a joke's more valuable than any piece of household furniture.
Depending on your perspective, then, yeah, I suppose so.
Certainly.
No, I'm with you on that. I defriend someone who says that to me.
I'm having that?
Yeah.
Well, I let one of them go. The other one I said, never ever say that to a professional comedian.
You didn't say that?
I did, yeah.
Oh.
They got, in the way, sometimes people
What did they say?
Sometimes people get the backlash for the time you didn't say it.
Oh, yeah.
And you think, second opportunity, going hard.
Yeah.
It was like that.
What about when a professional comedian said, I'll use that on my DVD?
I mean, it's...
About a joke I'd made.
Oh, wow.
I got nothing.
Who was it?
I've used to say.
Clues?
But you know very well who it is.
What about I know, yeah. I'm just going to see if I can squeeze it out of you. We can have a text in, and if they get it, you have to say it's there. No. I wouldn't do that.
Oh, okay then, yeah.
I wouldn't do that. And another thing, I discovered...
I love that tour.
When we talk about the idiotic eureka moment, when it takes a long time to get something...
Yes.
Were you both familiar with the word earworm?
Yes.
Absolutely more.
I didn't hear that until this Sunday just gone.
Oh, right.
I had no idea what it was.
Was it a hymn that was earworming you?
Yeah.
On a Sunday?
It was, and Jesus' earworm is love. Which wouldn't be a bad title for a hymn, actually.
No.
It's better than the Magnificat.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I like those feline-based cartoons. But I have a lot of earworms.
Yeah, you do.
In case anyone is in the same boat as me,
any Victorians listening?
An earworm, I'm going to say it anyway, is something that goes around your head and you can't release for years, I think, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I've got things I've been saying and singing, since the 20s. I mean, my 20s.
Uh-huh.
What have you got, Frank?
Well, the one that I've been doing, I think, since the 70s, it isn't even musical. It's a quote from a snooker match I saw on the telly. And I would say I've said it 10,000 times or more.
Yeah.
And that is...
You must be really good at it by now.
Yeah, here it comes. The game of chess played on the green baize. And I heard that said, and I love feeling it on my lips.
Nice.
The game of chess. It's brilliant. Try it at home. Let's all do it now together as a nation.
If you want.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. The game of chess played on the green baize. Oh, you'll all be hooked now.
Bit of fun.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I think we've solved the mystery. Charlie, can you not shuffle those papers, please? It's not news at 10.
I think it's...
Hey, leave Charlie alone.
I think
do me a solid favour sorting my parking out, okay?
Did you do your solid?
Is that your other household thing? She's paying a few bills and stuff.
Yeah.
He's not online yet.
He's been using Charlie for years.
No, that was me.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I know it was one of you.
We've solved the mystery of your joke. I say your joke.
Yes, I never claimed it as my joke.
Okay.
No.
The Telegraph, in case you just tuned in, have put me in their top 100 jokes, and I don't think it's my joke.
I wouldn't want to be in anyone's top 100 jokes. Nugget, our old faithful, has come forward with this piece of information. Good morning, Frank. The joke you've been credited with, he puts credited in inverted commas, is often attributed to Peter Sellers. Laters.
Okay.
Well, this is how these things happen, isn't it? You know, a lot of the things that on this side of the ocean we accredit to Oscar Wilde, his witticisms. In America, a lot of them are credited to Dorothy Parker, apparently.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So Frank's some sort of Dorothy Parker figure.
He is a Dorothy Parker figure. I've said it for years.
Either way, you're either... That covers both options. That thing about... Well, we were just talking about being... this thing about I'm having that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so was for 757, who says, the game of chess played on the green baize. I'm having that.
That's a very, very good combo of this morning's themes. Well done. Now, I was talking about this, the people say I'm having that if you say something funny.
Yeah.
And I asked Alan about it, and he said, I never say anything funny. I mean, obviously he was being self-deprecating.
I think I actually said, unless the spotlight is on me. I meant off stage. Like, I don't say funny stuff in the dressing room in case comics nick it.
No, that's it. But if this is what happened, is if someone says, I'm having that, for the rest of the conversation, I think of jokes, I'm not saying that.
No.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant, I think, but I'm not saying it.
I know someone who gets their phone out and says, oh, hang on a second. So then you have to pause whilst they write down what you've said.
I'm starting to think that now the people who steal jokes, at least they've got the decency to keep it quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, don't rub your nose in it. Mm-hmm. That's incredible, getting the phone out.
I think there is something slightly patronising there, isn't it? It's as if to say, I'm going to immortalise this little thing you've said. Mm-hmm. Like I'm some little old lady in Aberdeenshire.
Like you're lucky, like you've found a voice.
Yeah.
Like Little Voice.
It's an absolute scandal. And Daisy, I'm just giving you some of the conversation now, because I don't see why you should miss out just because we're playing music.
Yeah.
Daisy pointed out a very good point, that this is why you get the broken-hearted clown comedians.
What?
Like Tony Hancock.
Right.
In fact, he's got loads of funny stuff to say. He's just worried about people nicking him.
So he gets about.
I mean, obviously, I suppose the suicide was pushing it a bit, but but yeah. So maybe I think you do get like that. You think I'm not going to say anything because.
We've actually had an email entitled "Comedy Guilt," almost as if it knows what this is all about.
There's no you in that.
Comedy Guilt?
Word.
No, that was one of my autobiography chapters.
No, there is a U. There is a U. It's Guilt.
Oh, I get it.
Oh.
Hi, Frank M. Al. I went to a comedy club in a large city last night with a group of about 25 blokes on a stag do.
Oh, I wish I'd been there.
Yeah. I must speak to my manager. After 2 acts, there was an interval, and we all left and went to a classy Australian bar to have a few drinks.
Well done for that, though. Well done, rather than sitting and talking through the rest of the act.
I thought you were going to say,
that's interesting, because he wants to know.
Australian
he
bar.
wants to know whether or not. He says, as I sit here this morning eating my full English, or should that be British, given we get to keep Scotland, I can't help but feel a little guilty about leaving 2 large tables empty for the third act, who may or may not have been very good. Can you and the team let me know your thoughts on this? We were not the only ones in the club. There were about 70 others in there. Yeah. So there we go. What do we think? I think
I'm happy if 25 blokes on a stag night leave.
Yeah. So it sounds like you did the final act a civic duty there.
Yeah. In fact, if you'd stayed, that would have been a neat little in microcosm the Scottish referendum, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
I tell you what, I watched Glue, the new E4 drama.
Yeah.
I don't watch much drama on TV if it doesn't have aliens in it, but this was a bit different because it was written by my brother-in-law. So one has obligations. Turns out it was a bit of a scary whodunit
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I love a whodunit.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, who doesn't?
You just like the person who done it to be alien. Is that-
I like a
That's your remit.
Houdini. That's our favourite.
I like that.
Do you remember when I started reading Agatha Christie's and I had this thing that I like everybody, I want to get
I
it.
like the way you said Agatha Christie's, like old ladies say Marx's.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Yeah.
Well, so here's my diplomatic question. I've already got a theory on who did it.
Oh.
Hang on, is
Episode
it
1, which is you're supposed
one
to
of
watch.
how many?
I'm not sure how many,
Oh.
but as
You're
a
almost
few.
certainly wrong if it's early on.
Well, maybe I'm right. Maybe I've got an Agatha Christie sort of first couple of chapters.
I got Broadchurch
Did you?
quite early on.
I've noticed that.
I'm good friends with the director.
Oh well, no, I don't have any inside info. I didn't know anything about it at all, and I could be completely wrong, which is fine. But here's my diplomatic question: can I say to my brother-in-law, I think it was blah blah because that bit went so.
Oh, in case you get it, and then he goes...
What if I get it?
Yeah.
Then he's going to feel.
And what if he's got no poker face either? That
Yeah.
will spoil your enjoyment.
So he goes, oh, what?
Or falls out with you. Just falls out with you for
Yeah.
being too clever.
I know, that's
You
going
don't
to
want
be
a smart
awkward.
Alec as a brother-in-law,
No, but
do you?
it's
Well, he might not finish filming and then he might say, I'm having that.
But it's difficult, isn't it? Because it's hard not to join in with a whodunit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I like a wide on it.
Why?
I love a wide on it.
Oh,
When you
Columbo.
see the murderer at the beginning.
Actually, Columbo.
Find out why he did it.
Columbo, you get whodunit and whydunit in the
Yes.
first scene.
Brilliant. It's perfect.
But anyway, so what do you think? Do you think I should pretend that I haven't been guessing?
I don't think you've got those levels of self-control.
You're right. Why am I even discussing this?
I think you should take that snippet of Emily saying, I don't think you've got those levels of self-control, and just have it as a ringtone or something like that.
What, you mean I'm having that? Yeah.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I like your denim jacket, Frank.
Do you? I think he's got his Absolute Radio lanyard round his neck. It's all gone a bit status quo roadie.
I am a bit, I think I'm wearing comfort clothes today.
No, you're that loyal roadie to Francis Rossi, and I think you turn a blind eye.
Guitar tech.
I beg your pardon?
Guitar tech. That kind of one who just looks after the guitars.
Nice.
Now, I'm a bit worn out. I've been working very hard this week, and I put on comfort clothes. You know when you when you just want clothes that are light on the buttons and heavy on the
Yes.
fleece.
I call it
Nice.
electronic tag chic.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I've gone. I'm all tracky bottoms, t-shirt, denim, all cuddly wiggly.
If we didn't know better, I'd have thought you'd over imbibed last night. But,
Yes, no.
it's that sort of outfit for
Well,
the
when,
listenership.
I thought I'll just put, because I put this on to go to my son's football class yesterday, because you don't want to turn up there in a suit, looking like you're scouting for talent.
Yeah, true.
And so I put it on today, and I was in the car coming in, and suddenly it's like that dream when you realise you're naked in the street. It felt like that. I thought, oh my God, I'm dressed incredibly casual, out of doors.
Okay, there's no one who'll judge you on your clothes here.
Well, I know that for a fact. Well, the other one of my
rocking
other earworms, by the way,
Oh, yeah.
is another one. This is from the film The Dresser. With Albert Finney and Tom Courtenay. And I must have said this 20, 50,000 million times. No, sir, not Othello. I just love it.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks.
I occasionally have them with actual songs. I know you do.
I do.
Oh, I
You've
have
told
them
me
with
that
songs as well.
you always sing Brass in Pocket when picking up money from the cash till,
Yeah.
the ATM, the cash machine.
Well, once I've got it, I sing Brass in Pocket because I feel like I can go anywhere now. I've got money.
Well, if I do that, then it then stays in my head for the day. But I found myself, by sheer coincidence, getting money out of the cash machine whilst humming the Beatles' "You Never Give Me Your Money."
Ah.
And
Yes,
I did
yours is more mournful. when you're getting money out of the cash
But it then
machine.
stayed in my head. And I bought chocolate milk the other day, and then for the rest of the day had cigarettes and chocolate milk, the Rufus Wainwright song in my head.
Do you mean that when you say you bought chocolate milk, do you mean on the stock market?
Yeah.
Is it like buy pork bellies? Is it one of those?
I've really overinvested in Choco Milk. That's I think I should have gone short on it, and I went long on it. I don't know what I'm saying now.
No.
I'm out.
I don't like the way it comes already mixed.
No, I don't.
I think it's just trying to make Nesquik look bad.
Yeah.
I often sing, I come from a land down under.
Oh dear.
It's something
Well, then
to do with
in
it
that
being-
case, you must owe the person who wrote that children's song a lot of royalties.
Yeah. But I find it a good marching sort of song. It's good
Marching
rhythm to
powder
it.
song? Oh, God, this
Not
is
anymore.
awful.
I've paid my dues.
Wild West Hero by ELO, I've been singing... I'd say I've sung that every day for the last 30 years.
Oh, hello.
That's excellent.
Thank you.
Some didn't notice, but I liked it to highlight it. I'm not having it.
Have it.
I don't want it.
I don't mind.
No, I actually don't want it. But, but well done anyway.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We were talking about earworms, you were calling them, Frank.
Yes. Well, I didn't. I only found the word myself. This.
Okay, you were having that.
Yeah.
016, a.k.a. Rich in Harlow, has texted us. My getting out of the bath, getting dry song is Mr. Bombastic.
Not easy, that I would have thought, but it's good. But that's good to have one for that particular moment in your
Brilliant.
life. How does it go again? How does it go, Al?
Oh, don't put
I
me
know.
on the spot.
Oh, I know, I'll happily do it.
Go on, do it.
Mr.
Call me
Bond.
Mr. Oh, you've ruined it. You can't say, no, I don't know.
I didn't
Wait
say I
for me
didn't
to
do it.
come in
All right,
and
go
then
on.
ruin my Martin McCutcheon
The
moment.
floor's yours.
I think it was one of those. Oh no, honestly, I couldn't. No, really. And then
Yeah.
they get up and they do karaoke. And
I was gonna do a
they've
full
got
little voice
They've got
as
the
well.
dance moves as well as the lyrics.
It's going to come right out my shell there. Go on.
They call me Mr. Bombastic.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to help you out there, even though I don't remember it that well.
You must remember, Al.
I do remember it, yeah.
You
Well, go on then.
Oh, no, I don't like the singing.
Oh, now he's gone shy again.
Yeah, I've gone shy again.
Can't keep up.
Here's the question: do you get blonde beards?
Oh.
Me particular.
Well, you're sort of. I wouldn't
Here
call
we
you
go.
blonde exactly.
You
I
gonna
mean,
say
like blonde.
ginger-haired beard.
Like a Daniel Craig blonde. Would you call him a blonde?
People who are properly, like, really
Like
blonde.
Rutger Hauer.
Like if Boris
You're talking
Johnson.
Midwich Cuckoos.
If
Boris
Boris
Johnson
Johnson
grew a
grew a
beard,
beard.
would it be ginger rather than blonde?
Yeah,
That's
generally.
today's texting, 8, 12, 15.
Well, you know, Hulk Hogan, he's helped that moustache. That's not the natural colour, is he?
No.
I think he might have dyed
whiteness.
his hair as well.
What, are you
maybe.
saying you don't get a white blonde beard?
I don't think you get properly blonde
No,
beards.
you don't. You're absolutely correct.
What?
Why not?
Why not?
They tend to have a Henry VIII sort of
They do.
auburn sheen in them.
They're. You don't get them. That's my verdict. You don't get them.
Anyone with a blonde beard, text in.
Yeah.
How can we verify
Unless
that?
you're an 85-year-old woman living in Plymouth.
In which
then,
case-
then basically that's your business.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text us on 8 12 15. You know you like to. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. I think we got an explanation via Twitter of the blonde beard.
Well, we did.
Or the non-blonde beard phenomenon.
What it's to do with is the recessive gene, Frank.
I don't really know. They're into science here, aren't we?
No, she was
Well, you
talking about
need
your jacket. Recessive gene.
You need to ask Professor Brian Cox.
Okay.
Chris, I nearly got his name wrong then, would have been awful. Chris Waller says the ginger gene is recessive in head hair but not beard hair, which is why so many of us have ginger beards.
Okay. So you don't get blonde beards, I'm right.
Or they're rarer. I think he's saying that they're fewer.
Okay.
What, ginger
right.
beards?
Yeah, no, blonder beards. Like full blonde.
Nicole Kidman? I'm just saying, she doesn't have a beard, though, in
I
fairness.
think she was a beard for a while.
So I can't imagine your beard.
So, anyway, it's been a big week.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We haven't been able to talk about this for ages.
We had a ban, didn't we?
We had a
Because of
ban
the political
on-
fairness.
In
We
case-
couldn't say the word yes or no.
Oh, that was awkward last week when Frank
really
said
weak.
yes. It
Yeah.
turned out he'd just been offered a tea he wasn't talking about.
I know, but the idea is if we'd spoken about it, it's just this show.
Yeah.
Every other show. If we'd spoken about the referendum, we could have swayed the population in some way.
Yeah. Because of our legendary political insight.
Exactly. So we had to keep quiet. But now the gloves are off.
Yeah.
I mean, Andy Murray was accused of swaying the vote by tweeting in a way that seemed like he was pro-independence, and he's had a lot of hate from the union
Never mind that.
people.
What about poor Judy's chances? He's ruined it now.
I think that's why he did it. I think he was pro-independence because he wanted his mum to be the first properly Scottish winner of Strictly. That's what he was after. Like that. Then we don't have to shit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now
It's not a British win.
will people turn against her? All
They
we know
might.
is-
They might do that.
She's not going to be happy.
No, I'm guessing that's a general thing.
First dance to Mull of Kintyre, apparently.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's what it will be.
Really? Oh,
Far have I travelled and
love
what
that
have I
song
seen?
as well.
That's the tennis circuit summed up, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
I think she's going to be good on it, you know. I won't be surprised if she wins. There you go. Early tip
I
from
think
the
one of the
popcorn.
reasons as well we haven't mentioned it is that if you offer any sort of opinion on it, you are liable to get kidnapped and beaten up and your body burnt on waste ground.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think it has got a bit tense in a way that the
Well, it's
general
been
election in the Great Britain general election is a bit dull
Yes.
in lots of ways. I think this was really, fighting on the streets.
They're a fiery
apparently.
folk.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Don't you sound English when you talk about them in that way?
When you
They are a fiery folk.
When you call anyone folk, you're sort of saying they're a bit simple, aren't you? Yeah, it's... but, it's... Everyone's saying it's not... That the result wasn't that... I think the people of Scotland who wanted independence should look to Susan Boyle, who came second in a national poll, and yet went on to be an international recording
Yeah.
star.
The most successful
Exactly.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, whereas the people that won, which I think were what was that dance troupe?
Diversity.
Diversity. They've done well.
Oh, I've worked with them.
Can I just accredit Daisy for that? Because I'm not a thief.
Yeah, but they've done well, but not as well as Subo,
No.
who's gone through
You
the
have.
ceiling.
She has gone.
I think she did actually go through the ceiling of and they had to change the whole design of the cell. She worked out that those loose panels she could get into the air ventilation. No, but
Isn't it
it's
all
an
a bit
example,
orcs
isn't
for
it?
them, though? All
Orcs.
these Scottish people now.
All these Scottish people, which
no,
ones?
you're one
Why
of
is it
them.
I am sort
I
of.
just think, when so many of you have said you're not interested,
Yeah.
you're just not that into us,
Yeah.
it's just a bit awkward.
It's a bit like that moment in a relationship when
Yeah.
you nearly split up and you don't, but you never. It's always there after.
I think
Yeah.
it might have been, yeah. I think it might
It's
be a bit
just-
like that. One of my favourite things about the whole thing was just the Scottishness of the news when... Like in England, when they show photographs of the church halls that are being
Yeah.
used to vote in, there's always a sign outside that says polling station, isn't there? Polling station. In Scotland, it literally says polling place. Like, they call it a polling place, not a station.
Is it like on,
It's so literal. It's the place where you go for your polling.
Is it? Why don't they call it the voting place? That would have been interesting.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
But
It's,
that sounds like they're slightly patronising the look. I mean,
Brilliant.
Frank, it's very bullseye.
on Bullseye, yeah, where they didn't say geography 'cause it was too complicated a word. So if you chose it as a topic, Jim would say places.
I think they might have had SOMs as well.
The spelling, spelling was called words.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
What about Alex going?
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty noble.
It
Alex
is.
Salmon.
I think
is.
walking away is pretty noble to say, okay, I lost.
Yeah.
Although I thought there was a little element,
dignity.
an element of you don't deserve me about it.
I did.
Which I also quite like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but it's the sort of thing I'd do completely could close your career down on the strength of one stropper.
The good thing is,
I don't think that's quite what's happening, but yeah.
Isn't it?
No, I don't think it is. I think he's slightly deflecting from the deflation. Deflecting from the deflation. Yeah, you heard. I think everyone's going to be a bit sad, and he's kind of going.
Is this his default deflection from the
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
he's got
focusing the troops somewhat, I think.
What was handy out was that he's got the ready-made expression for defeat.
Yes.
He's got the child's line drawing of the mouth.
Yeah.
Just the one line.
Yeah.
I've got to tell you about
Sad
Alex
face.
Salmond. I saw him interview Ian M. Banks at the book festival in
How's
Edinburgh.
that?
Well, I did spend the whole time thinking there is no English politician I can think of who's this bright, funny, or competent. He was brilliant.
Really?
So I did spend the first 10 minutes thinking it was Mark Fowler from EastEnders, but no, he's a sharp. He's gonna be on the big. You know when they did the lecture thing and met millions like Blairo.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I heard that he could have made millions because he's originally he was an oil economist, and he could have joined that lot and made
Who's that,
fortunes
Salmon?
of it. Yeah, but I think he realised, hang on, that oil's Scottish, and so I think that was the beginning of his
Besides,
SNP.
I don't like
type
salmon in
stuff.
oil.
No, I don't.
Tomato sauce.
Well, now we're going to get sturgeon. It's a very fishy thing, isn't it?
I was shocked.
When he made... Sorry, Frank.
Sorry,
I was
carry
going
on.
to say, when he made his statement, I know it's not his fault, but he started it by saying, I spoke to the Prime Minister today. I always think they're name-dropping a bit when they say that. I just think, why is he
Somebody
rude?
in the
You just
audience is saying clang.
just say your statement. You don't have to say that you spoke to the Prime
I
Minister.
wish you'd have said that and then moved on and talked about something else. Yeah. My immediate thought is I spoke to the German Chancellor Herr Hitler. But I think there is a sort of tradition of starting that.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool to walk.
Yeah.
Actually, it was like I was banking on this. This is what I wanted, and now I'm walking away. It's really pretty dramatic, and
Yeah, I like it.
like Mike Tyson said, they carried him out on his shield. Actually, Mike Tyson more or less sort of dwindled away and became a vegan. But
Did he?
he's a vegan now. I think
Is he
Mike
really?
Tyson. Yes, I think he didn't. It was the ear that put him off.
Yeah.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
You know, one of the things I enjoyed the most about this whole Scotland's thing was...
Scotland Gate,
yeah,
should we call it?
was Mary
In
Berry.
Scotland Yard.
Mary Berry.
Oh yes.
Who said a very brilliantly old ladyish thing. She said, we're a family, we should stay together. Which I thought was a bit of a Mo from EastEnders approach to politics.
There's been a lot of that. Even Rod Stewart, I was absolutely convinced would be yes.
Oh,
because
so yes.
he's very brave, Rod Stewart. He said he'd hate to see the union broken after all these years.
Yeah.
As he added in the Mail, said the Maggie May rocker.
who lives in LA. They could have added.
Does he live in LA?
I think so, yeah. I'm guessing.
There were lots of celebrity tweets. You know, the papers always pick up on them, as you've observed, Frank, as if that's news.
Yes.
Chris
What did
Evans...
Boise have to say about it?
Well, Chris Evans said, it appears we're still one nation under a groove. Happy Friday, everyone.
Okay.
Did he then say, here's Ocean Colour Scene?
Did he mean Grove? Was he on about referring to the mass forestation of Great Britain?
Is
Piers Morgan said, okay, it's the new.
Did he? Is Mary Berry Scottish? Can I ask that? Is she Scottish?
Oh, like posh Scottish, those ones.
Yeah, is she one of those, or is she yet another English person voicing what they think the Scottish should think? Because that was
All right, Glasgow.
yeah.
Can you say, but you see, if somebody leaves you, you are allowed to say, please don't go.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought there was too many English voices saying what the Scots should think, and Mary Berry for me was.
You're just worried about going back to Scotland and your family beating you up.
To me, Mary Berry was the icing on the cake. There we go. We've got there, and that's it. We can move on. I like Julian Fellows, who talks sense.
Lord Julian.
Is he? Is he a lord?
Yes.
I don't think he always talks sense, but I liked it when he said, we will discuss... What we should have said at the start is we'll discuss all the terms if and when you vote for independence. We hope you don't. He said that English people shouldn't tell the Scots what to think. It's up to them.
You've gone very...
I like
Well,
that.
can I tell you what I think? I think
you want.
we we know how you think. You've had your little vote. It's now time for us to decide whether we want you.
That would be perfect.
There's going to be some changes around here.
I'd be fine with
you
that.
two just stop it now. We don't want to encourage ruction here.
Okay.
We are, whether rightly or not, we are now a family together.
Right.
I'm surprised the yes vote didn't win, because I've met a lot of Scottish people in London and they're always asking for change.
Hank.
The Crankies, they asked the Crankies, they refused to comment.
Is that true?
That was, they live in Torquay now.
Oh,
Couldn't get much further away. Tax
exiles.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they pay tax there. Yeah, it's true. I can't believe, again, all the people you think are going to be there on the back. I thought they'd be out campaigning the
Crankies.
Yeah. Do you think they were asked not to by the yes voters?
And the no voters.
Yeah. Van Dabben nosy.
Van Dabben nosy.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Apparently the Telegraph wrongly attributed a joke to Bill Murray in the same list.
I said, well, what are they playing? There's also one that they've given to Ricky Gervais, which I suspect doesn't sound very... Have they just randomly put them into a hat and then put names on them?
I think that sometimes happens, you know.
Does it?
I think there is I mean, it's not for me to say that there is a certain sloppy journalism when it comes to lists of jokes being attributed, you know. And also, you can't really legislate for people that have stolen a joke off someone else, can you? How do they know? They don't watch that much stand-up, do
They could have done the top 100 all to Pasquale.
They could.
Anyway, let's go on a little journey. It's Email Corner.
It sure is.
Where we read emails that have been sent to the show.
Good morning, Frank, Emily and Alan. Emily's account of trying to get a cappuccino in a hotel. Oh, this is when you were told no, basically. Or I don't know.
I asked, he said, we only do coffee and tea. I said, can I have a cappuccino? No, we only do coffee.
Basic misunderstanding.
He then said, I better check with the manager. It became an international incident.
And you said, I'm not bothered now. I don't want it.
Oh, no, I got my cappuccino in the end.
Oh, good for you. Emily's account of trying to get a cappuccino in a hotel is similar.
Oh, well done.
It's similar to something that happened to my sister, Sarah, at a family meal recently. The waiter asked us for our drinks order. Sarah asked, is the rosé sweet or dry? The waiter looked at Sarah, emotionless, and said, I don't know.
Something good about that, though, isn't there?
Isn't there? Sarah was a little perplexed, but smiled and asked, is there someone who would know? The waiter, still with no emotion, said, no. Sarah decided to have something else.
In the world, there is.
Yeah, good point. Perhaps this is how the service industry is evolving. Very blunt, factual responses. I hope this makes Emily feel a little better about her experience. Matt334.
Sounds like they have a staff trapped in the prison of their own ignorance.
To be honest, I may be declaring my own ignorance, but I didn't realise that you could get rosé anything other than rosé. I wouldn't think to ask sweet or dry. I would just think rosé's rosé and white wine is sweet or dry.
Yeah.
Is that... I just thought rosé was rosé. Like, to me,
it's another Del Boy approach to life.
It's the pink stuff.
Rosé's rosé.
Well, I hate wine.
You love wine.
You love
I like
wine.
non-alcoholic wine.
You love your wine.
Do you like white or red? Non-alcoholic.
It's white.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. I once asked David Ginola.
Clang.
Oh. Yeah. I
was speaking with Hitler this morning.
I once asked David Ginola whether rosé was red and white mixed together.
Oh, yeah.
He looked honestly like I'd said something terrible about his sister.
That is a ridiculous
Think
thing
you
to
made a
say.
faux
Me in the chest.
Did he?
Yeah.
No, that's a Zinedine Zidane reference.
Yes.
He looked really... He said, what are you talking about?
Did he?
Yeah, it was really didn't...
Never seen your impression of an angry David Ginola before.
I'm still work in progress, I'll be honest with you.
I'm having that.
Can I go to email 2, please, Frank?
Yes.
Thank
Before you do, I just think it is good if the service industry does do that. It's almost like a version of good parenting, because apparently good parenting is only ever give them a choice of 2 things, like you either want this or you want this. If you say to a child, which socks do you want to wear, you'll be there for 3 hours. If you say pink socks or red socks, that's it. You get an answer much, much faster. But I think a waiter saying, do you want tea or coffee? Not 7 different coffees.
I've got a credit card with a reasonable limit on it. I demand choice.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, I was once, I went for dinner with Dame Diana Rigg.
Clang.
I was speaking with the Prime Minister this morning.
And she ordered...
This has been your most name-droppy section of the show ever.
She ordered a bottle of wine, and it did take a long time to come in, I must say.
Yeah.
And this bloke went past, who I think was like the Major D, like one of the senior people.
Major D, called him Major D.
Yeah, whatever.
He was military.
Major Domo.
Major
What's a
D?
Major Domo, then?
Major D, it's called a maitre d', darling.
What's a Major Domo?
Isn't
I
that a
don't
musical
know.
thing?
I don't know.
It sounds like a
please,
cartoon character.
Readers
It's a-
out there, what's a Major Domo?
8, 12,
That's
15.
General Jumbo you're thinking of. Anyway, so she grabbed this bloke when he went past, by the arm in a vice-like grip. She gripped him the way that clasp on a, the benefit cheek crutches you get from the NHS. She clasped him on the forearm. Clasped him on the forearm like that. And he looked startled. She grabbed him that hard, and she said, I ordered a bottle of wine some time ago from one of your waiters. I'm worried he may have fallen. That is the way to complain in a restaurant.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We have an email, this is Keith from Brum, living in Germany.
Oh, it's not our Keith, is it?
Well, this is perhaps
Living in Germany, woke up in Germany. It would have said.
living in Germany as of this morning.
Got drunk, woke up in Germany.
Morning, Keith. I'm a reader living in Germany.
Okay.
Frank was talking about the feeling you get when you have a great excuse for not being on time. Oh, yes, that was in one of our shows recently.
Is this when you got hit by a bus?
I
Yeah.
was hit by a bus on the way to an appointment.
He was in a car, in fairness.
Yeah, well,
I arrived late one day at my future English mother-in-law's. I'd been driving to visit them and approached a set of traffic lights as
Optimistic.
a lorry went through on amber.
oh,
Just before jumping the lights, the truck discharged a large box. I immediately thought, great, this is going to be my lucky day. A stereo, telly, speakers. Oh, quite 70s. No, it was 3 10-kilogram boxes of washing powder.
result.
I arrived at my destination and gave my future mother-in-law 2 boxes. Thanks, Keith. Where did you get them? She asked. Do you think she said, oh, thanks, Keith?
Where did you get them? I bet it was like that, wasn't it? The future mother. Thanks, Keith. Where did you?
Yeah, an air of suspicion.
Yeah, definitely.
He said,
Flotsam, he said.
no. He said they fell off the back of a lorry. I replied, waiting for the drum roll.
Oh, excellent. They fell off the back. Brilliant.
Yeah. No praise for the show. Thanks, Keith.
Okay. Fell off the back of a lot. Because what he could have said, well, it's Purcell, but for a few seconds they were aerial. Oh, that could have been in the top 100.
Could have, yeah. At least it's clean.
I think more like maybe 129, darling, that one.
Okay. Well, a similar thing happened to me. I saw this big thing fall off the back of a lorry, and I went over and opened it up. It's 3 illegal immigrants, and they've lived with me. They've lived with me ever since.
wrong with you?
As equals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this how you first met Lance, the chap that you were talking about a few months ago?
No, this is Pedro.
All right, Pedro.
I don't-
What, illegal immigrant from Barcelona?
I better not name. Well, we can't give them the real names.
No.
I think I want to drop
Just
them
call
in.
them all Pedro. That's fairer, isn't it?
But anyway, they keep themselves to themselves. We never had any problems.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people would have turned them in, not Frank.
No. Instead, you turned them to work, didn't you?
No,
You've got 'em-
they live as equals.
Oh, do they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
Free,
nice.
free
isn't it?
childcare.
Nice.
Let's not beat
I
around
don't know.
the
I
bush.
mean, the first day I couldn't get a recliner in the garden was the only time I thought maybe I've been over generous here. But generally, they're, you couldn't ask for better.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
772 has texted us. I know we're in email corner, but can we just
Do what you like.
go on the little hard shoulder for Darren Spiteri from East Tilbury. Morning,
You don't meet
Darren.
many Spateris unless you're working on TFI Friday.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you're Chris Evans. A major domo. Did you say Duomo or Domo?
No, Domo.
Okay.
I know what the Duomo is. I've been up it.
Well, you say that, but you don't know what a maitre d' is. A major domo is like a personal servant,
Ah.
as Bib Fortuna is to Jabba the Hutt.
Ah, so a maitre d' is like a head waiter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's more than that.
What is he?
Well, he runs the gaff.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
he does
he was a
bookings and
head
all
waiter.
sorts. Well, I think of him as he's a greeter as well. He's everything.
Okay. Bit of a greeter.
Crybaby.
I suppose if maitre d' is a bit of a feeder.
Yeah.
Think about it.
We also had a text in earlier from Ben in Blackpool. Please don't talk about Justin Bieber today. It's a great show and it just ruins it. Why don't you talk about important things?
no.
Thank you. We don't normally read praise, but given that it's also got an attack, we're allowed, aren't we?
Well, it's mainly an attack. It's secondary praise. That's all right. I think you make a fair point. We have talked about the Scottish referendum today, which
We
is
have,
important.
yeah. And we've done that with a
and,
level of seriousness
yeah,
that I
and
think
when-
only Radio 4 can match.
Yeah, and whether or not they're a blonde beard. So, you know,
Yeah,
we've touched on some of the big issues.
Indeed.
Big issue, no thanks, I'm just, no change. Yeah, it's a fair point.
And now we'll sashay back onto Email Corner. Hi, Frank M. Al. I was recently remembering...
Et al, they could
Yeah.
say.
Indeed, yeah. I was recently remembering fondly the time when ASAP was only ever found in written form. Back then the letters were always capitalised and separated firmly with a full stop. However, now people not only write it consecutive, lowercase letters, but they actually say it. OK,
It's
get
true.
there ASAP, they say, or ASAP.
Oh, ASAP is awful.
Get there ASAP. Can Frank and the team think of any other words and or phrases that once existed solely in written form, but have now entered common vernacular? Love the new Email Corner jingle, BTW. Now there, I don't know if that's them doing a little joke. Do you think that's
Oh,
that?
BTW.
BTW. But
I think
do people say BTW in conversation?
Well, we do in our family, but I think it started as irony, has become one of those things that we now do. So even my son would say BTW.
Like
Okay.
OMG.
OMG is fun.
Well, Emily says FYI
Yes.
Oh, all the time.
regularly. So.
We're big fans of FYI.
But you haven't made it a word. You are saying the letters. Does that still count?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't go fyi.
No, I don't. You're correct.
That would make you sound even more plummy. It'd be preposterous if you turned around and went,
I
fly.
like even more plummy.
I like
Suggestion.
even more plummy and then saying it would be preposterous. Well, get you. You're leaking out, my friend, by the sounds of it. People do say IE now, don't they, in conversation?
Oh,
David Brent.
Don't people say IE?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like people that
Well,
say
you say
IE.
par example, don't you? You wouldn't say
I
I.
do say par exemple.
Oh, do you know what? The little attempt at the accent at the end is heartbreaking.
Oh,
but I love it.
I love a
May
bit
we-
of French.
may we-
Oh, I love
a
it.
bit of French.
Do you
What does
do you
IE stand for?
It's Latin.
Is it an example?
It's Latin. Surely that should be IL.
Oh, it's so
Wouldn't it be
literal.
great if it stood for it's Latin? Is it Idris Elba?
Can I?
Seems unlikely
In
that was...
Excelsis, we're going
Oh.
to get so many emails and texts now telling us what IE stands
Good.
It's fine, isn't
for. I
it?
predict an influx.
We've got the
And I
human
like an
Google.
influx.
An IF.
It's what I call Google, if you remember.
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I want to know. I'd like to know. What do you think? All right.
What do I think
Is
of
that a quote?
There used to be a band in Dudley who were very much like The Fall. And I remember they used to do a song, and the thing was, I'd like to know, and that became one of my earworms.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Emily Dean, Alan Cochrane. Text us on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
We have had texts. We have indeed.
We got texts.
We were wondering
You got mail?
Yeah.
I love what an old-fashioned concept that is now.
Yeah.
We collectively were wondering what IE stands for, and various people, boffins I'm going to call them, various Latin speakers have texted in.
Just be Catholics.
Yeah.
Or people who know how to put Wikipedia.
Yes.
Use it effectively.
No, never. They would never Google this. Come on.
Well, we've no way of proving that. IE stands for id est, Latin for that is.
I like id est.
I should have known that. I did Latin.
I'm going to start saying id est.
Did you do Latin?
Did I? No.
Did you, Frank?
Did I? No.
Oh, extraordinary.
Yeah. But, you know, I did lots of other stuff. Id est. History. Places.
Words. Sums. Did you do sums?
I did some.
Yeah.
We've also had a text saying lol.
Now,
just
was
lol.
that me saying some, S-O-M-E, or was I doing, like, you do the math? Or was I taking the S off sums?
Was history on Bullseye? Perhaps people?
No, not history.
I think it must
Past.
have been.
It's probably called past.
No, I think history was too hard.
Was it?
Yeah. History, no.
We were talking about words that have acronyms that have become words, like what was the one that we just had that email that said ASAP?
Oh, yeah.
ASAP. And someone has
Don't
just
people say
texted...
ASAP?
ASAP.
No.
Yeah.
You
I
may
said-
sound like
I said
Aladdin.
I thought they
It's
said
ASAP.
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 ASAP. 483 has texted LOL.
Oh,
which
yeah, people do
obviously
say lol.
began as laugh out loud in text form, but people now say it. And then texting it just made me think that we were doing a funny show. So,
What worries me about this is the word "lol" in order to to relax in a sort of
double L.
L-O-double-L. Now that I think that one might get bullied out by the new
I think
lol.
you're right. I mean, technically,
Yeah.
you could lol and lol simultaneously.
You
couldn't
could loll around if you were someone who went to a lot of comedy gigs.
Yeah.
When
yeah.
people say lol in a text...
Which one?
Well, I just write them off when they say that. If they, that as in the, laugh out loud. It's like when you say something and someone says, funny.
Oh, yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
that.
It's also going to become a problem for people called Lawrence, who shorten it to lol, which is a thing, isn't it? I worked with someone once who was called lol. I mean, that was his name, lol.
Oh, that's another... Yeah, Lauren. What about IHT?
IHT.
I'm having that. I'm going to start putting lol on the end of texts and emails, but L-O-double-L.
Right. Meaning have a lie down.
What sort of thinking?
Your head's
obviously-
lolling.
Obviously, if someone gets a text from me or an email, they probably sit bolt upright while reading it, as a sign of respect. And I think, and then I can say, right, you've finished.
Here you are.
You've finished reading it now. Lol, just you can lol again. It's fine.
Like a sort of a military version of stand down.
Yeah,
At
exactly.
ease. You're
Exactly.
back at
At
ease.
ease. Yeah.
Frank thinks when his texts come to us like POTUS.
Exactly.
That's another one. Another one,
Skinner
POTUS.
text.
POTUS. What's POTUS? I don't
President
know.
of the United States.
Oh.
You didn't watch your West Wing.
Who is the President of the United States? That's this morning's texting
got
on
a bit
Magic
easy.
FM.
Bit easy.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We were just watching Gordon Brown do a speech.
Yeah.
God, he's changed now. He looks like a bloke he looks so I'm back.
Oh, he's happy.
Confident.
He's back in the building.
Oh, man. He's thinking here, OK, I messed up the Great Britain thing, but I've got downsize. In Scotland, I can be massive.
He can be big.
Reminds me when I came into radio from television. It's,
He's big in Japan.
He's getting a bit, that the faux pas is just around the corner, 'cause he's getting a bit confident, he's dropping his guard. Oh, dear.
I find him quite attractive now. The self-assurance. I like it.
Yeah.
He's got his mojo back.
It won't last. But anyway,
Oh, I tell you, we haven't discussed one of my favourites this morning, Gerard Depardieu. Have you heard the latest?
Do you mean Gérard Depardieu?
Depardieu.
No, I mean Gerard Depardieu. He...
Well, you say no, but then you came to me a bit with the pronunciation. I felt you.
Okay.
The secret with French, in my experience,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think we need to play that jingle.
Parlez-vous français?
The secret with French in my experience.
have you ever walked over hot coals?
No.
Well, look,
Okay.
if you've
He's trying to find some jingle. That's what he is.
I am, but it's not working.
Okay.
If you've thanks, Daisy, for letting me down. If you've ever walked over hot coals, what you have to do is you have to walk really quickly so your feet barely touch them. That's the
Oh, is
way
that what you do with
to
French
it.
then?
That's what you do with the consonants in French.
Oh, lovely. Can I ask you a
So you
question?
think you-
Do
yes.
you speak French?
Well, stick around. So when you see the name, let's call it Gerard Depardieu,
Yes.
stretching out in front, you run, but you try to, you're on the initials, but basically you try to not even touch the consonant. Gerard Depardieu. You're gone, you're there, you're at the end.
Wow.
Yeah, not a burn, not a little bit of black on the big toes, but that's it. That's my secret for French. Relax.
Does it actually work? Have you been to France and spoken it? And
Of course he has.
Of course I have. Not.
Oh,
I always think actually going to France will spoil the whole thing.
right.
Don't you find that with countries generally, you can read the books and watch a film set there, read a book set there, lovely, and then you go there and it's rubbish.
It's like Scotland.
Hey.
So,
I don't.
no, I love Scotland. I spend a lot of time there.
Yeah.
Do you?
No.
Okay.
So, Gerard Depardieu.
Jadabieu. Yeah.
He's been
Although we're all-
competitive with the accent.
We're all pronouncing it a bit French, but he's Russian now.
He's Russian, to be honest. So what should we
But that's
call
not the story. The story is he drinks up to 14 bottles of wine a day.
Well,
What, that's a story?
he says that he does.
He says, I can absorb 12, 13, 14 bottle a day.
Can I say, as a person who's been through the heavy drinking mill, that a little clue to someone who drinks a lot is when instead of the word drink, they use the word absorb.
I love the word
It makes it
absorb.
sound more organic.
I loved it.
It means if he could sit in a bath of it and it enter the pores of his skin, he'd be just as
He
happy.
does make himself sound like a science experiment somehow.
He is. He's the control for the rest of the human race.
He says in the morning it starts with champagne and red wine before 10 a.m. How can he get up before 10 a.m. If he's drinking? He probably has to set the alarm to get his quota in.
No, I think that's the first big wee of the day for the drinker.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's already up. He thinks, well, should I go back to bed or should I have a bottle of wine? To hell with it.
Plan B, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. He's lovable, though, for all this, don't you think?
Yeah, there's something about him, isn't there?
I got to play some adverts, but we'll come back to Gerard.
Yeah, shall we?
He's becoming a friend of the show. Hopefully he'll replace Bieber, and that other person will be keen with that.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We're discussing Depardieu. Oh, hang on. Depardieu.
Yeah. I'm very interested. 14 bottles of wine, but he says about in the evenings he'll sometimes have a bit of vodka and stuff.
And whiskey.
Just to,
Pasties, like you. Like
mix
pasties.
it up a bit.
He also says he's never totally drunk. I'm finding this very difficult to believe. I mean, 14 bottles of wine is about 20 pints, I think. I mean, that's a lot. I know it sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But
I like that you have to measure it in pints.
Who drinks pints? I mean, you couldn't drink 14 pints of, like, a weak beer a day, but wine is, like, 3 times stronger than that. It's a lot of...
To be fair, he looks great on it, though.
He does, yeah.
So svelte and alabaster skin.
I'll tell you what I've always thought about him. He looks... If Paul Merson had been raised by apes... he would have looked like Gerard Depardieu.
But apparently the secret is, he says, all you need is a 10-minute nap and voila, a slurp of rosé wine and I feel as fresh as a daisy.
He's like the Galloping Gourmet with some recipe, and voila.
10-minute nap. 10 minutes. 10.
What he's talking about is concussion.
And he says, anyway, I'm not going to die, not now, I still have energy. Well, I'm not sure you
You're
can
not going to
predict.
die, but you did mess yourself on an aeroplane.
Did he?
Yeah.
And also, I think the one thing that is definitely true of this is that he is going to die at some point. Oh, that's true. It's just for facts. His behaviour was condemned by a French mental health expert. I like this guy,
Why?
Michel Lejoyeux, who blasted French attitudes to the heavy consumption of alcohol and the media's admiration of his alcohol intake. He said, a consumption of 14 bottles a day is beyond all data, all thresholds. I like that. Like, this guy's off the scale. I love it. Imagine being all data and off the scale.
Well,
Brilliant.
It said that his doctor had asked him how much he drank a day. And he said, he began by saying something like, OK, get ready. He gave him a bit of a sit down. But I'll tell you what I would like to have a look at. I didn't know he had a range of wristwatches.
Oh, yeah. He does.
Brilliant.
He has a range of wristwatches called Proud to be Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PTR.
I like that. It makes it sound like being Russian is some kind of oppressed minority rather than not being Russian, being an oppressed minority.
He's also got those proud to be alcoholic sleeping bags.
Nice, yeah.
Well, he
Very good.
became Russian as a protest against the French tax laws, I believe.
Yeah.
No,
Let's face it, he's got quite a few old Threshers bills to pay.
They closed one odd bins in Paris near him, and that was enough to send him off on one.
What about his recycling bins? Oh, imagine the noise when he takes those bottles out.
You presume he takes them out. I imagine they're just... He's getting
Just in his
near the
living room.
ceiling in his house over the bowl. I mean, I shouldn't think he ever puts clothes on. He's just lying on a lot of empty bottles in his house. We shouldn't. Can I say to any young people listening, this is not the way to live your lives. Is that fair?
If you want. Yeah.
It worked all right for you for
It's
a
done
year,
all right
but
for
it's-
Gerard Depardieu.
No, he's one of those rare ones who'll go on forever because he's got an iron.
He can't drink like a normal person.
Do you know he's got an iron?
Has he got iron?
Yeah.
Is it any old iron?
Well, he hasn't switched it. He hasn't worked out to switch it on, but he has got one.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
A bit of breaking news, and I'm not going to self-publicise. We sort of have a secret rule on this show that you don't use it to publicise your tour or any of your major television appearances
No,
that are forthcoming, do you?
never mentioned that I'm on Doctor Who.
Never even graced the airwaves, has it? But as you know, I live in Manchester, and
Manchester.
I've recently done my Edinburgh Festival show in Edinburgh, but this week it's been agreed that it's going to transfer to...
I was enthralled. Oxford Clarion, I think it was.
Nice, thanks very much. I don't read my own press, but cheers. I'm glad that the Oxford Clarion came along. I've booked it in for a week in London, and I'm not trying to self-publicise, but I will just say that it's in a theatre in Soho. I won't say which one.
No.
But it's a theatre in Soho, and it's occurred to me that it's going to be the first chunk of time that I'm in London for about a year. Like, I think I'm going to be here for
Can
a
I
full
ask
week.
a question? When is it on?
I think it's sometime in November.
This is like the Mike Yarwood show or something when they do that chat at the end.
Anyway,
Can I ask a question?
I thought since I haven't been in London as like a tourist...
Emily's age alert light has just gone off in the studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is me. He used to say at the end.
Don't reference Mike Yarwood. I was going to say, what should I do during the day? Obviously, I've got to stay sober, not spend too much money, and not do stuff that might injure me. Like, the footballers are encouraged to play golf because it's active leisure, keeps them out of trouble, time-consuming.
And because they're a bit thick.
And because they're thick, yeah. Some of them, not all.
Yeah, not all.
What's a good day out in London? Should I go to galleries and do all that stuff? I used to live here, so I'm not like a complete rookie. I know my way around the tube.
You can't go wrong with the gallery.
Can't go wrong with a gallery.
Me and Kath used to go to the National Gallery, but we used to do a room at a time. So we'd go in. We'd make a rule, because I think what you can OD on art.
Yes.
It's very exhausting if you do too much.
Yes.
So you do one room. What we'd do one room. We'd go around separately, looking at all the stuff, and then we would meet in the centre of the room when we were done. We would decide which painting we each liked best, and then we would go back and have another look at those before we went.
And when you met in the middle,
nice.
were you playing yourselves, or was this some kind of weird roleplay thing that you did, where you then pretended to
what it
not know
sounds
each
like,
other?
Al?
And you went off to a hotel. Is that what took place?
Well, I like looking at art on my own. I don't like
Right.
people going in the
I
background.
like looking at art on my own. I've heard that before. Many an ex-boyfriend.
Yes, I would recommend that. Look at all the paintings and then decide which one you like best, and then announce
It's
that and
quite
go
weird. Al's right. It's a bit like Spies when you gather again on those seats.
Nice.
I use a similar system in orphanages.
Dang.
We pick ones we like best, then we go and have another look at them, and then we go home.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I'd recommend that.
All right, good.
And it's free.
Well, that sounds.
Have I
really
won you
good.
over?
Yeah, I'm in. I'm writing that down.
Okay, I mean, hold on, I have to do my
National Gallery.
to do my professional
Can I,
things. Hold on, I'm doing my professional thing. Can't you tell by my body
No,
language?
funnily enough, I can't.
I've gone a bit Gordon Brown, overconfident.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Enjoyed that. I think I don't know. We don't normally read out this sort of thing, but somebody has emailed saying I'm highly offended by the comments made against Scottish people this morning and will no longer be tuning in.
Oh, no.
I don't think there's been any. I don't think there's been any that's that bad, and I say that as a Scotsman, deep down under the Yorkshire accent.
Friendly leg pudding as well.
I apologise for calling any offence, but if you liked it, you should have put a ring on it. So... We've had some suggestions.
It's no good talking to this person because they're not listening.
Exactly. There's no point in offering this apology to someone that isn't anymore tuning in.
No.
I believe I pointed out that Alex Salmond seemed to be brighter and funnier than any English politician.
And I said I'd been to Scotland.
Yeah, that's it. You mocked him. Fair play to you. You were chucking your A penneth.
Mm-hmm.
Alan's been asking for recommendations.
And we had a good one, actually. Just had a text from Gary, 675. Morning, top team and the fabulous Miss M. I would suggest to Alan to take in some shows. Matinees, of course. Actually, I could probably manage an evening show. I don't think my own little offering is going to start until 10 p.m. Late.
You'd struggle to get in an evening show before.
Maybe, yeah, but maybe one that starts at 7 and just goes right through with no interval. I could bash through it, couldn't I?
You could get a Saigon in.
When I was in art at the Wyndham's Theatre.
Oh, I was talking with Herr Hitler this morning.
Yes. Whenever people said to me, or any of us, how long's the show, we'd say it's about 95 minutes or 65 on the Wednesday matinee.
I thought it was shorter than that, art, didn't it? Wasn't it?
It's an hour and a half, basically.
Was it really? What, in 2 sections?
No interval.
No interval.
The theatre never forgave us for that. Yeah. Drink sales, you see, dear.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've had a recommendation from Dan Skipsey on Twitter who says, Alan, the Science Museum in Kensington is good for a day out and it's free.
Nice.
Cost of the food is astronomical, though.
Oh, okay, I'll take a packed lunch.
No, astronomical, is that a pun?
I believe so.
Very good. That's very good. I didn't get that. I just thought it was a word to the wise. Right, I'll make a note of that.
The trouble is,
I'll arrive full.
If we're all going to put our cards on the table, we all know that science is the dullest subject.
No, Science Museum's good, Frank.
I know, but you know, science, everyone now pretends. David Baddiel, I have a running argument with him now. He's suddenly got on the science bandwagon and started saying he's interested in science.
Oh, maybe he is.
I hope he isn't. Because... God bless science. It gave us the sat-nav. But even so, I think to pretend that it's anything other than dull is pushing it. It's maths. It's ultimately maths.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, and if there's any scientists listening...
Are you suggesting that there's an artsy crowd suddenly being interested? That's what you have a problem with?
It's become cool now.
Right.
Whereas students used to have a Beckett book in the pockets, just slightly shown so everyone knew they were a bit... Now now it's going to be a brief history of time.
That book about Fermat's last theorem.
Yeah, like exactly. Yeah.
They like the video games as well, don't they?
And I say, look, full respect to the proper scientists. We all need work, but
we all need work.
It's not fun. Science. Let's not pretend it's fun.
No.
The science. I mean,
although they might find it fun, you might be, putting 2 and 2 together and making 5.
That's because I'm not a scientist.
Exactly.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
In this week, by the way, of when we've all had to think about our national identities in Great Britain somewhat. I mean, not just the Scots, but I think the English as well.
We've had to.
Yeah, I think we have, don't you think?
I feel like I haven't done my homework now.
Well,
Can I do it next week? Will that be okay?
I want to tell you about something I saw this week, which I thought was... I'm not sure it was the best decision, but I went to the match last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
When I say the match, West Brom Everton was what I went to.
Oh yeah.
And I got a programme, a match programme, and on the front of it,
as my gay friend called it, that magazine. He said, "I like that magazine of yours."
Well, I got that, and there was a quote on the cover, and bear in mind, last season we survived relegation with, I think it was 36 points, and we're currently in the bottom 3 of the Premiership. The quote on the front of the Albion News, our official match programme, and some of you might recognise this, is, "Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way." Do you think that's a good idea to put
Who
that
said
on?
that? Adrian Charles.
It's actually a quote from Pink Floyd track, apparently.
Oh, is it?
But why would you put that on the front of your programme if
I think
hanging
it's
on
a terrible idea to put that.
Oh, it's...
You've got to fake it till you make it.
You got
That's right, yeah.
and you've got to be in it to win it.
Yeah.
And
YOLO, you only live
And
once.
YOLO.
yeah, and just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And all sorts of other things.
no,
Yeah.
In that
no
ballpark.
picture. It didn't happen.
No picture or it didn't happen. Frank.
Yeah.
Why can't they just put boing boing like they do every week, surely?
And you can't get quicker than a quick fitter.
I've heard that.
Thought I'd end with a bit of garage. Now we're in the same
Nice.
building as Kiss FM.
I haven't seen any of the Kiss FM DJs.
No, I imagine they're all.
You're looking for a kiss?
No, yes. Are they in the basement? Yeah, that's in there. They're down in the bay.
You're looking for
Oh,
a kiss
are
in the
they?
basement?
What?
Nothing?
I like that they're down in the basement.
It's in. Well, they're down.
It just seems appropriate because they're cooler than us.
down with the
Yeah, they are
basement.
down.
Yeah, we're. I feel very old-fashioned since they've moved in. Do you?
Yeah, a little
Thank-
bit.
Thank God. Is it Magic has moved in as well?
Yeah.
That's made me feel like some young rock and roller. So it's it swings and roundabouts. So Andy Bush is coming up next. Thanks a lot for listening. I still haven't come up with an ending. I'm looking for a new ending.
Maybe we should start next week's show with the discussion of that, and we could work it out during the 3 hours we're on air,
Well, yeah,
rather than 10 seconds before the end.
I'm going to try one now based on an old song. Auf Wiedersehen, arrivederci, au revoir.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.